Hey everybody, just want to give an update to all who are interested in the 50-gallon Reef Cube Aquarium project. It's only a week in since I've filled the water in. Then again, the rocks were all pre-cycled for many weeks in a big tub of water, and the substrate is a Arag-Alive, which is contains seemingly living bacteria cultures and speeds up the cycling of a tank. I absolutely checked and verified all the water parameters before I added any life to this tank. Started out with a cleanup crew, then a couple of cleaner shrimp, and then very gradually, gradually over the course of 4 weeks, added the fish, and they're all doing quite well. I'm very happy with the activity. I've got a number of frags set in amongst the nooks and crannies in the Pucani rock, and swimming around you can see the inhabitants. Got a Midas blenny, which I absolutely love. Got a blue reef chromis, the royal grama, the blue flasher wrasse, which I'm very happy with, and I've got a couple of yellow gobies in here. They tend to hide out in the rocks. Once in a while they'll swim. And today's addition was the yellow chromis wrasse, which has got absolutely a beautiful yellow coloration. And considering I had the blue flasher wrasse already and liked it so much, I actually had picked up a 5 or a 6 line wrasse and took it back to the store the next day, realizing that the lined wrasses can be quite aggressive and boisterous, and they can actually run fairy wrasses or flasher wrasses ragged. So I took that little 6 line back and actually picked up a coral frag. So you can pretty much see the occupants swimming around. I'm going to pan over a little bit and you'll see one of the yellow gobies here in the left front of the tank, here in the foreground, hanging out. Looks like their lower fins are kind of modified into a suction cup type appendage, which allows them to stick onto the glass or other surfaces. Very curious. But I took a long while to determine what type of fish I wanted. Did a lot of research and had a list prepared months in advance of actually getting the tank set up. I found that a lot of it is really in the planning, and the last thing I'd want is fish that are at war with each other, or crustaceans that eat fish, or fish that eat crustaceans. And everyone seems to be living in harmony, and just very happy with that. Talking about the coral frags I've got here, maybe I'll zoom in one at a time. I've got this little Xenia island up here. Trying to keep that apart. A lot of folks consider the Xenia to be a weed, and it will propagate quite readily, seemingly. I kind of like it, and I'm just keeping an eye on that. A little bit higher up, you've got a small little hammerhead coral frag. I know that's in the Euphyllia category, and that will send out little feeler stinger tentacles, so I want to be very wary of that. Also, I didn't mention that the lighting has been on a reduced intensity program, and I'm trying to introduce the coral frags low in the water column and then gradually raise them up to the resting positions. But I'll also see how they grow and how they interact. Further back at the bottom, I've got right here, I've got the yellow star polyps, and there are a couple little zoas in the middle there. It looked like the zoas were bleaching, so I moved them into a little shaded area. I'll see how they're doing. Today's coral acquisition is this coral right here, this frag. It's ORA frag, and it's familiarly known as potato chip coral. It's an SPS, and it has these very interesting like curving plates of a structure, and looks like maybe cabbage or lettuce or curly potato chips. Let's see how that one does. Quickly becoming one of my favorites here is this right here. It's this candy cane coral. It's very fluorescent, although not among the more fluorescent I've seen here in the South Florida shops. But I really like this cluster. Actually, when I was moving it, the skeletal portion broke, and I was pretty heartbroken there. But I actually took it out, used some putty and or epoxy, and was able to stick it back together. And I seem to like it in that spot there. Moving over to the right, I've got right here a little green star polyps. I like those a lot. These are pretty electric here, especially when the blue lights come on. I know they'll grow pretty far. They'll cover whatever they're next to. They'll cover the back wall of the tank. Right next to the green star polyp, I've got this Montipora. I believe it's a digitalis or digitalis. Right over here. This is an SPS. It seems to be doing pretty well. And if I look at the tips, I see they're white and it looks like they might be branched. And now moving to the right side, foreground, I've got this little torch coral frag, which seems to be doing well with the long tentacles fanning out with the current. Little tips are nice and fluorescent green and look nice when the light is more the blue actinic shade. And then up this rock structure here, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. I've got my Duncan coral. Is right here. See, there are a little royal grommet swimming by. I'm thinking that maybe the current might be a little bit stronger than what the coral prefers here. It's I think it's got about 2 or 3 heads, and it seems to be doing well otherwise. I like this coral a lot, and I've since moved it up to its current location from lower in the aquarium. And in addition, more recently is another trumpet coral that I've added. Right here is the newer one. This was the existing peppermint or trumpet coral. This one here is very fluorescent. Right now the white balance is a little bit favoring the yellows, but when the blue or the actinic lights are on, that one really pops. So pretty much that's an overview of what we've got going on here, and we'll continue to see how the tank evolves. Hopefully the corals will grow and thrive. I'll make sure I stay on top of the water parameters and measurements and the water changes, and not overpopulate with livestock. Seems like I've got a comfortable medium right now. Thanks for watching. If any comments, please enter them below. I'll be happy to respond. Thank you.